Hey fellow woodcutters, Top Saw here. Today's video is going to be about this Festool Kapex. Few issues with it, and I want to talk about those issues, and you might want to watch this video before you buy one. So I teach high school woodshop. I've been teaching for 27 years, and I do tree work on the weekends. So it's kind of a sweet setup, because on the weekends I cut down trees and I bring those logs into the high school. We mill those logs into lumber, and then we build cool projects out of that lumber. So it's kind of cool. We don't have to buy wood, but we do cut a lot of wood. And this tool, all my tools in here really get put to the test, and this Festool actually has not held up to the test. I do know a high school wood shop is a tough place to test tools. It's like lending your favorite tools out to your 90 worst neighbors every single day. But there are plenty of tools who have stood the test of time in here, and I love them. I'm just impressed by them, and this is not one of them. So to tell you, I started with this tool a little over 3 years ago, and what happened with it is that the trigger mechanism broke. A student was cutting a board, released the trigger mechanism, and the thing stayed on. It actually was a little bit of a scary situation. They got into a little bit of a panic. I went over and just unplugged the tool, and it worked out great. From there, I know not to open it up because I don't want to void the warranty. Turned out it was a few months past a 3-year warranty. I brought it to my local store where I bought it. I actually love to buy stuff at small brick and mortar stores, primarily for the service. I bring it down there. They held it for a week. They called me back and said I had to send it directly to Festool. I called Festool. They said they didn't want to cover it under warranty. They said to bring it down to my local store. It went back and forth. And then finally they said, well, I need to ship it to them directly. $100 to ship it back. I can't imagine what it would cost for them to repair it. I'd, of course, have to pay for that out of my own pocket because it is the high schools and they never issue a purchase order for that. So, I mean, I'm looking at just tons of headaches and repairing it. I don't even know if I'm going to fix it. I don't actually know what to do with it. But with that said, let me show you around my shop a little bit. This is the station it came out of. This DeWalt right here is over 20 years old. Never a single issue with it. This is a super cool Delta radial arm saw right here as well. I think this thing's from the early 60s. I've never had a single problem with this tool. They are a little dangerous. I don't like the students to use them unless they're advanced students. And what we use this tool for is I have a dado stack on there and we cut our dados on it. But it's a 60-year-old tool or more, and it's never had a single issue with it. It seems hard to believe that a new chop saw can't even last 3 years. Here's another station I have. This is a Makita chop saw. It actually has all the functionality of the Festool Kapex. I like it because it slides forward this way. It has the double bevel. It has the miter gauge, removable fences, clamps. You could cut dados on this. Basically everything you could do with that Festool, you could do with this Makita. It is, the only difference is it's half the price of the Festool. I don't even know what it's going to cost to fix that Festool, but I'd imagine fixing that Festool is going to be more than just buying another Makita like this. I don't know if other people have had this Festool Kapex in their shop and what their thoughts are. I would really love to hear your comments in the section below. I know a lot of people speak super highly of this one. Certainly, I'm just going to put this on the back burner. I don't know what to do with it and buy another one of those Makita 12-inch sliding chop saws. I love that tool. I haven't had a single issue with that. Students love it. No problems at all with it. And this thing has been actually a little bit of a disappointment. Besides teaching high school, I do tree work on the weekends and during the summer, and I only use Stihl and Husqvarna saws that I bought at my local saw shop. I love those saws, and when I bought Festool, I was thinking I was getting the equivalent of a Stihl chainsaw, something that would last me a lifetime. It didn't really work out that way. The current Stihl saw that I climb with, I've had for 20 years. I bought it at my local saw shop, so if I have an issue, I could bring it right back to them 20 years later and they fix it. Not with the Festool. What broke on this Festool right here is this trigger mechanism, and it is a little tricky. You can see none of the locks even work on it now. Is that you have to depress this with your thumb like on all the other saws, but then you have to half press this to unlock it to bring it down. And that's not working, and it's not shutting off, so it just runs perpetually in there. This might be a great tool if you treat your tools really gingerly and gently, but this thing certainly did not work out in a high school wood shop. I know that there are outrageous demands in a high school wood shop, but I was hoping that Festool, like my Stihl chainsaws, would hold up for a lifetime of work. So I don't know if it's a bad tool. We certainly liked it when it worked. Now that it does not work, I don't really know where to go from there. I don't know if I should fix it. I really don't want to assume the liability. I don't really want to spend that outrageous amount of money to have them fix it. I don't want to spend $100 out of my own pocket, send it to them, and then have them tell me that they can't fix it and another $100 to send it back. It is kind of the whole reason I buy it in a local shop. Like I buy all of my professional tools. I buy all my chainsaws in my local shop. I mean, main reason I'm happy to pay that additional price is for the service that goes along with it. But again, please comment below. I might be out to lunch on that. It might be me, and it might not be the tool. People might think complete opposite of what I just said.